What are we here for today, bro?
We're here to talk about Army of Darkness.
That's right. The third film in the Evil Dead franchise, written and directed by Sam Raimi, released in 1992. Uh, I don't have too much to say about this one, so I'll kind of go first. Like, I enjoy it, yes, but it's I can't look past the more. First off, it's a huge departure from the low budget feel of the first two, especially the first one. But like I said, I enjoy it, but I do feel like this one feels nothing like a horror film to me. It's straight up like a fantasy adventure movie, maybe. And I do feel like the comedy's just a little bit too much in areas, but it's a fun movie, man. It's a fun adventure. That's what I call it. It's an adventure movie, and it's made apparent too at the very end when he's telling his buddy in the store, recounting the whole story. So fun movie.
Yeah, the first two in the remake are definitely more of horror movies. What I do really like about Army of Darkness is that this movie is there more so to expand upon the lore of Ash and Evil Dead. And I think it's cool that Sam Raimi wanted to do something different and take a departure from what he'd been doing before, because this is really his opportunity to make a sort of medieval fantasy film, action adventure film. And in the 90s, you look at all the stuff he was doing all sorts of different movies. And if you ask me, he was doing them all really well. He was doing For Love of the Game with Kevin Costner, which is a great baseball movie. He was doing
That's
The Quick and the
right.
Dead.
I forgot he directed that movie.
Yeah, he directed Quick and the Dead right not too long after this, which was his western. So he was
Yeah,
doing all sorts of what Sam Raimi's always been great at, and it's something me and Jordan talk about all the time, is how he's great at blending those genres together. And a lot of that kind of makes a lot of people don't like that he blends a bunch of genres together, but I think that's what he does the best. So I think that's what it's really cool about this movie, and this movie really showcases that about Sam Raimi, I think, more than any of his other movies.
yeah, it actually does, and it's funny that you bring For Love of the Game up because I do like when especially coming from me who likes a variety. Also as a filmmaker myself, because as a filmmaker myself, I want to dabble in different genres. I don't want to be known for one genre. So I do like, although he mostly is known as a horror guy, I do like how he has stepped out of his comfort zone a couple times, just like Wes Craven with Music of the Heart, a fucking romance comedy, film like that. Completely like you watch that movie, you would never think Wes Craven directed this. Like, holy shit, Wes Craven directed this movie? So the same could be said for Love of the Game for Sam Raimi, which is a good movie, by the way. But yeah, I forgot he directed Quick of the Dead, too.
He directed A Simple Plan, which has Billy Bob Thornton. That's a really good
Yeah.
thriller movie.
But yeah, man, I got a lot of respect for when people step out of their comfort zones.
Yeah, what I love about Army of Darkness is this was basically Sam Raimi being given a relatively much bigger budget than what he had on the first two. I think this is his first studio film, and it's because of this, it's what led to him being able to make Darkman and all those other movies in the 90s.
Yeah.
And it's just cool to see
Shout out
what
to
he brought.
Darkman, bro. That movie scared the shit out of me as a kid.
Yeah, Darkman's awesome. This
Yeah.
movie is an example of what happens when you give Sam Raimi a studio film and you give him a budget and you let it be in his world of Evil Dead.
Yeah.
So it's cool getting to see him do a bigger budget Evil Dead movie.
Yeah, it is. And fun fact, the studio kind of fucked him over because I heard he wanted to call this movie Medieval Dead, which would have been brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I don't really have a problem with it. It's a fun, enjoyable watch. I do think he went a little overboard with the comedy, but it's Bruce Campbell, man. I can let it slide. It's still
Yeah,
enjoyable.
I think ultimately what makes it Evil Dead is the the Sam Raimi sensibilities, the fun camera shots, and the kinetic energy. And I
Yeah.
think that's ultimately what makes it Evil Dead, in the same way that Ghostface is what makes Scream scream. So I think at the end of the day, like, Evil Dead, it's a cabin in the woods. There's not too much you can do with that throughout if you're trying to make a franchise of movies. So I think the Evil Dead franchise has always been really good at reinventing itself, and I really hope we get Evil Dead Rise, because that's an HBO Max movie. So I really hope that doesn't get scrapped, because that's just another example of how Evil Dead would reinvent itself being in a high rise. But yeah,
It's already been shot, right?
yeah, it's already been shot. But
Well,
yeah,
worst comes to worst, maybe another distributor or studio can swoop in and try to buy the rights or something in HBO. I don't really think HBO Max would shelve that. The demand is pretty high for that movie.
Yeah, it would be
Uh,
a.
yeah, we'll see. Who the fuck knows what's going on with WB and HBO? But yeah, man, that's pretty much all I got to say about Army of Darkness. Fun movie. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. I recommend the whole series, actually, Evil Dead. If you got anything else to add, man, we can move on to the remake.
Sam Raimi was always pushing boundaries in terms of technological advancements in filmmaking, and this was one where he really got to go the extra mile. It's awesome because it's really funny because he was making the choreography that Bruce Campbell had to learn to kill all the stop motion skeletons. He was purposely making that as difficult as possible just to mess with Bruce Campbell. But he was doing it to add to Ash's frustration, and he was having him use that. So I love all those stories about Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell working together, and I think I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I love how he's not afraid to fuck with Bruce like that and get what he needs. And Bruce obviously understands that. And I love that they have that relationship. Those relationships are hard to come by in the film industry. You don't see them
Yeah,
too often.
yeah.
But with that said, yeah. What do you think about Army of Darkness? Do you like it? Is it too comedic for you? Is it awesome for you? Like I said, it's fun for me. Gabe loves it. We like it. So yeah, let us know, and we'll see you later.